Oh, what do you think I thought of it?
I wanna see 'em dancing.
The Disney story that taught us prejudice is bad ironically has a hard time convincing the internet that a black mermaid can be a thing in The Little Mermaid. And I should make this very clear, I think most of you are aware, but just in case you're not, I haven't liked one of the Disney live action remakes. Some have come close, but I still didn't think they worked as a whole. I don't think they understand the idea behind a lot of these movies. Even the point half the time, I think a good chunk of the changes actually end up hurting the message they're trying to get across. So this one, I was not expecting much better, and I didn't get much better. I will say it is nowhere near the worst of these Disney live action remakes, but it's nowhere near like the ones that are almost good to me, like the Pete's Dragons or the Cruellas. To me, this is just a perfect middle of the road bad. There are a few things that save it from being god-awful, a movie where I just leave angry. I didn't leave this movie angry per se, and it is because of these one or two elements that I'll get to in a minute, but I know why y'all are here. You're all here to watch me rip it apart, and I'm more than happy to oblige.
This obsession with humans has to stop.
I just wanna know more about them.
Like, what is their obsession with sequels and remakes? If you are someone who watched the remake of Beauty and the Beast or Aladdin or Lion King and you enjoyed them fine, you will totally enjoy this fine too. There is nothing different about it. It is the exact same formula. It's paint by numbers. It's the same beats as the original. They're saying a lot of the same lines as the original. They're not adding that much. If anything, they're taking away certain things. I guess some people like that, okay, because again, these movies make like $1 bajillion. So if you like the other live action Disney remakes, there's absolutely nothing different to this. This is gonna be exactly the same thing. You're gonna get what they always deliver. For me, I really like the original hand-drawn Disney Mermaid. I don't think it's flawless by any means, but I really enjoy it. And this one feels very much like, you ever go to like a theme park, particularly a Disney theme park, and they might have like a stage show of a movie that everybody knows, like the stage show of Beauty and the Beast, and people come out dressed as the characters and they kind of act it out and sing the songs and just do the lines, and for little kids watching it, they're just going, oh, I recognize that, yay, and that's it. You're not expecting anything like really emotional or moving. This is like a multi-million-dollar budgeted version of that. Everybody is saying their lines like they are sleepwalking through them. Nobody is saying anything like this is what they're really feeling and it's moving them towards their goal or their wants or anything like that. They are saying these lines because they said it in the original.
She got legs, you idiot!
And you got nightmare fuel, Sebastian! So many of the lines are exactly the same. They're just said a little faster, and then they'll take out other scenes that don't always make a lot of sense. Actually, there's a ton in this movie that does not make any sense. Like, you remember the statue of Prince Eric that Ariel finds and she kind of simps over? Like, they don't even show the statue until after the ship sinks. In fact, they have to actually show the statue land underwater and then cut to the prince on the beach just to show it's him. Like, they don't even spell that out for you. Did you know birds can breathe underwater now? Like, Scuttle literally talks to Ariel underwater and not like says a few words and comes up, gets some air and goes back underwater. No, I mean for like 5 minutes talking to Ariel underwater, and they never explain it. If you're a black person or a Spanish person and you see Javier Bardem and Halle Bailey in this movie and you say, oh wait, Ariel has 7 sisters. Oh man, I'm excited to see a lot more of me on the big screen. Boy, are you in for a surprise. All of her sisters are different ethnicities. And again, they never explain it. I don't know if they're adopted, if that's just how mermaids give birth or whatever. My guess is it's so they can market to different demographics and sell more dolls. I don't know if Ariel ever had dolls made out of her sisters before, but I guarantee you they're going to for this movie. I haven't looked it up. I guarantee you there's dolls of these sisters.
You broke the rules. You went to the above world.
Dude, you might put your Triton in like 6 other women. Shouldn't be talking about breaking rules. The uncanny valley factor with the underwater effects is really strong with this, man. This whole movie looks like the movie Cats just drowning. They had all sorts of additional elements that don't seem to add anything to the story. One of the strangest things is Ursula gives her leg, says that the prince has to kiss her in 3 days, but she takes away her knowledge of knowing that the prince has to kiss her in 3 days. I have no idea why. They bring it up like 3 or 4 times and I keep asking myself, what's this building up to? What's this building up to? And it has no payoff. I never understood what the point of it was. Like I said, the majority of acting in this movie is people just kind of acting like zombies and saying the lines from the original. The biggest offenders of that are probably Melissa McCarthy, who's acting like she's drunk the whole time, like she's just desperate trying to find some way of making this material funny while just saying all these lines you've heard a million times.
You can't live in that world unless you become a human yourself.
Right? I swear she's slurring her words, man. And Javier Bardem, who is playing the role like he's stoned. Like he has just checked out, man. He does not give a shit about anything that he is saying. But again, all of these actors have been good in other things. I don't really blame them. They have the same acting style that most of the actors in these Disney live action remakes have, which is obnoxiously boring and bland, and everybody comes across that way. Okay, so that is all the bad things in the movie, and yes, it is a lot, and it is the majority, but there are a couple things that did legit make me happy that I was not only watching this, but I was watching this on IMAX with really nice surround sound. One is, surprisingly, the musical moments are pretty good. This is the guy who directed Chicago, so I guess I shouldn't be surprised by that. A lot of his other movies have been pretty generic and forgettable, but when he does a song sequence, it's one of the few times where it feels like the movie really comes to life. They're not flawless. I mean, I'd still, for most of them, rather watch the original. Except for maybe Under the Sea. You know what? I think I do like Under the Sea a little better in this version. Not that the original is bad, it's just, I don't know, something about just fish doing a conga dance and stuff like that, that's just not my thing. This one looks much more like it's really embracing this underwater world, and it's bright and colorful, and it's a little bit more imaginative because they can't just do the thing where they get up and start dancing like this, like they had to actually work in how these fish and animals dance and how they would move in a musical number, and it's done in a way that is really creative. And when these musical scenes happen, it's one of the few times where you get some really bright, colorful moments underwater. Like the trailers, you've all seen it. It looks super dark and hard to see, like a lot of movies are looking like this now. And there are several scenes like that, but the musical scenes really do bring out a lot more color, and there are several musical moments in this. They even add songs in this. So I really like the musical numbers in this, even though they're not flawless. There are moments that don't work in them, but every single song had something I liked in it. There's one where Scuttle gets a song and it doesn't match the rest of the songs in the movie, but the lyrics are really good. Like every beat has a lyric to it. I think Lin-Manuel Miranda did the lyrics in this for the additional songs. The other thing that's really impressive that made me glad I saw this movie, especially with the surround sound and everything, is Halle Bailey's voice is goddamn beautiful. I am so glad we are actually getting singers in these movies now, because if I had to hear Emma Watson auto-tune like Max Headroom again, I was gonna go bananas. When she needs to do these big, long notes, it is just heavenly to listen to. It just filled the entire theater, and sometimes I would just close my eyes and take in that voice. It just sounded so lovely. Now, on that note, even that's not quite perfect. There's some moments where she has to combine acting and singing, and it gets a little choppy. And again, I don't blame her for that, because A, it's very tricky to do, to go back and forth between sort of acting and singing and do it very flowingly and naturally and stuff. But again, all the acting in this is pretty off, so I feel like you need a director who understands acting to come in and talk to this singer, I mean just this natural born singer, to say, okay, like you got that down for the beautiful voice, the beautiful song, but now this needs to be a little bit more emotional. Like when she says, what is fire and what is it? What's the word? Burn, you know, like you have to really go back and forth between speaking that and then singing it, and it's very tricky to do. And I think you need, like I said, a director who really understood the character more to bring out a little bit more of that emotion. But again, I really feel like she's got a future, man. She's got a bright future. And if you think, well, some of her acting was bland in other moments, admittedly it is, but if you want proof of her talent, look at not only when she's singing, but the moments when her voice is taken away. She's still very expressive, and it's done in a different way than what was done in the original hand-drawn film. I like the fact that they don't do what they did in that, where she has the big wide eyes and the big smile and everything, because that's great in that film, but we want something different. So she has a look where she's kind of looking around and her eyes are constantly darting and she's looking everywhere. She's taking everything in. It's a little bit more of, I don't want to say a subtle performance, but it's a little bit more inward, and I like that. I like it's a different take. I can look at these two Ariels when their voices are gone and I can say, okay, this is not just an imitation of another one. This is like her doing her own thing.
Something about you seems different. I can't quite figure it out.
Also, Disney, stop trying to ruin Awkwafina. Like, she's fine. She can be funny sometimes. Why are you trying to ruin Awkwafina? There's a really nice moment during the Kiss the Girl song where Ariel's trying to get across what her name is, and I'm thinking, well, if Sebastian's not there because he's off singing the song somewhere, how are they gonna do this? I won't give it away, but it's done in a really clever, playful, and romantic way. So I like when they have little additions like that kind of take an idea that was good in the original and they put a nice little spin on it, or they capture what was so magical about it to begin with, but those moments are few and far between. Aside from Bailey's fantastic voice, this whole movie just feels like imagination in reverse. It's limiting creativity, not expanding on it, not allowing it to grow. So yes, admittedly, I have seen worse. It's not the live-action Lion King, it's not the live-action Beauty and the Beast, but don't you want more? Don't you want more from the company that gave you these unbelievable stories and these fresh takes on these classic stories, and now instead of giving an even fresher take on a fresh take, you're just getting something that feels like it's taking away even more from what was so fresh and original about it? It's not what I'm looking for. It might be fine just to distract your kids for a little bit, and again, if you want some wonderful singing, Bailey really is fantastic, but aside from that, I didn't get much out of it. So let's give it 2 out of 4 horny clergy, man. It's not my thing, but none of these Disney live action remakes are. With that said, what did you think? And especially compared to your thoughts on the other Disney live action remakes, because again, I think that's gonna play a big part in your enjoyment of this, because I think if you like the other ones, you'll enjoy this one fine. Did some of the musical numbers and Bailey's voice win you over? Did you feel like it was worth it? Did you feel like the colorful scenes underwater were imaginative enough? Or do you think they should just stop, man? No more of these Disney live action remakes, just leave good enough alone, or if you're gonna do something with it, do something really different, like maybe go back to the original stories? Or are you somewhere in between where you're like, you know what, kept my kids entertained for a little bit of time and there's some nice music, I guess I can't complain that much. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you next time. Take care.